You are listening to the Mom to Mom podcast, hosted by Stephanie Sinclair, founder and owner of How to Mom. This podcast is meant to empower women and bring the community together through storytelling and education. During these episodes, you will hear stories of triumph, heartache, and hope. You will hear time-tested tips and tricks shared by mamas and women. You will hear a variety of birth stories that will resonate with all birthing families, advice from professionals who have dedicated their teachings to pregnancy, birth, and moms. Here, you will find encouragement, support, and community, because we are your community, and we are so happy to have you. Now, on to today's episode. Hi guys, I am so excited about today's episode and the guests that we will be interviewing. Thanks so much for joining us. I am so excited to introduce you guys. If you have been following How to Mom for some time, you have definitely seen some posts and heard us talk about the wonderful Amy Bazal with Bazal Wellness. Amy is a busy mom of three. We can definitely relate in that topic. She is a wife and a business owner, and I call her the TikTok and Instagram guru, somebody we all can look up to. I look forward to her videos every single morning. She is a 200-hour certified yoga instructor and a Green Lotus certified kid yoga instructor. Amy offers classes for prenatal and postnatal yoga, family yoga, adult yoga for relaxation, and adult flow yoga for a great workout. This lady does it all. She is incredible, and she is literally changing pregnancy and birth for so many women. And it is just such an honor to not only partner in life with Amy, but also through our businesses, and to have you on today's podcast. So thank you so much, Amy.
Oh, thank you. That was so nice. I love being in this with you.
Yes, it's incredible. And isn't it kind of nice to hear people introduce you, because we are our own worst critic. And we also forget all of the hats that we wear and all of the things that we do. And you do it on a daily basis. And I think we often overlook the difference that we're making. And so I'm here to tell you that I am so excited to have you as a resource for our community and our clients.
I totally agree, though. I think it's really hard to take, because you feel like you don't do enough. Like you never feel like you're doing enough, even though it is enough, even though like one person is enough. If you're helping one person, that's enough. But sometimes it's really hard to take credit and just like pause and just appreciate where you're at and what you're doing is really making a difference,
Yeah, we really often overlook that. And I think because when you are in a certain arena or industry and things are just kind of naturally a part of our day-to-day life, like waking up and seeing that one of your clients had a baby and that you played a role in that birth story, like, not that you don't appreciate and love that every single time, but
Yes.
it starts to become a part of your day-to-day. And like, for an outsider looking in, they're like, that is amazing. So I need the reminder. I know all of my fellow entrepreneurs need the reminder. And so we're just really grateful to have you as a resource. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit more about your prenatal yoga background, your business, your passion, and like, why do you do this work? Kind of what keeps you going on a day-to-day basis to continue to fill into others and make such a difference?
Yeah, I think it all stemmed from just personal experience, which I think it does for a lot of us who work in this industry. Just experiencing a pregnancy and birth that I was not prepared for, and being like, I'm going to take this into my own hands and I'm going to prepare myself. And I went to prenatal yoga routinely during my second pregnancy. And the difference between the pregnancy and birth was like night and day. I knew like right there, this is something that I wanted to pay forward. And I decided, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to become my yoga instructor. And I really want my passion and purpose to be behind prenatal yoga. And as soon as I had decided that, I found out I was pregnant with my third. So I was at this crossroads. I was like, I can put this on the back burner or I can forge ahead, because this is the reason why I want to become a yoga instructor, and I can go through my teacher training while pregnant. And honestly, I had gestational diabetes. I had perinatal depression. And if it wasn't for that support group and that that motivation to dive deep into my own yoga practice, I don't know where I would have been. It would have been a lot harder, and it was already hard as it was. So
Yeah.
life just really gives you these opportunities, and I think it's stepping in the right purpose. But what keeps me going is honestly what you just said, like waking up in the morning and hearing that, like those classes that these people showed up to, that made a difference in their pregnancy. It made a difference in their birthing space, just like going in there feeling more empowered, more knowledgeable, and feel like they have a little bit of connection to themselves so that they can
Yeah.
trust themselves in that space.
Yeah, absolutely. And that takes practice, right? And that's why these classes are
Yes.
so important because a lot of times for people that are not in this industry or they aren't often taking a yoga class or they aren't often thinking about how their mind and their body are connected, that it's a learned process. And to be able to get there before labor and birth begins, like it just, regardless of how you birth your baby, it just feels like a different experience when you can be really connected to what's kind of happening physically. I
100%.
absolutely love that. So, what exactly do you offer your students? And the reason why I'm asking this is because I luckily am a part of your amazing newsletter. And yes, you have these incredible classes that you offer, but you also have community that you offer your students and some additional perks. So, I'd love to let our audience know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I feel like I have so much to say about this, but
Yes.
I'll do like a recap of it all. But so I actually recently had a new student come into my studio, and as a new student, they had been at yoga classes before, and my yoga classes are, of course, like we're there to create connection. We're there to use yoga, the true purpose of it, to bring into our pregnancy. But like, I want to have you feel empowered. I want you to
Mhm.
learn. I'm going to teach you, and we're going to build that connection. So I feel like I offer so much more
Mhm.
specific to pregnancy and birth than
Mhm.
just a regular yoga class, right?
Absolutely.
And community has been huge. I don't know if you guys have seen this more often. I feel like it's showing up all the time, but people just being like, where's my village, right? Like it
Mhm.
takes a village. That's what people are telling us, but everyone's like, where is my village? And that's just how it's come. Society has disconnected us so much. We don't have that.
Mhm.
And when you have a support system, when you have people that are going through something that you're going through, you feel like you have a village. You
Mhm.
feel like you have somebody to go to that can relate to you, that can give you advice. So I've created my amazing online community,
Mhm.
and I have so many students in my prenatal class right now, and they're all over the United States.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can we already have this community, but how can we take advantage of it? How can we come together and get to know each other? And I was a part of a pregnancy Facebook group my last pregnancy, and I still talk to people in that group
Yes.
because we had babies together. So
Mhm.
um I'm creating, that's going to launch in January, a virtual community that I'm going to have guest speakers come once a month just to
Awesome.
provide more professional
Mhm.
advice and knowledge to this community, and then just also, like I said, have that those people to turn to when you're up in the middle of the night with the baby and
Right.
you're at your wits end and you have nobody else to talk to, but more than likely they're probably on there because they're also up with the baby.
Exactly. Well, and I think too, we talk to clients a lot about who's your village. And a lot of times, unfortunately, it's just not there. It doesn't feel accessible. It doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel like a judgment free zone kind of,
Right.
within their family or group of friends. And I think what I feel so fortunate about with having the professional community that we have kind of here in the Twin Cities in this industry is that we really fill that gap of care. So not only are we providing that community and that village, but it's from all of these professionals so that people can have the resources available to them instead of
Yeah.
just feeling like they're in this space and they don't have the guidance or the knowledge or the experience, but rather the community and your village is there with all of that extra knowledge and resource and value. So I think that's always been a core part of How to Mom, and I see it within your business, and I think it's absolutely incredible. Okay, you guys, we're going to take just a brief break so I can tell you all about an amazing company, Body Ready Method. Body Ready Method is an amazing company that offers pregnancy and postpartum programs. I urge you to take a look at this, especially if you are wanting to stay active during your pregnancy and prepare for labor and delivery. This is also a great program to help heal and recover your body post-birth. You can go to howtomom.com/links and follow the Body Ready Method link from there. Okay, back to today's episode. So I'd love to switch gears even a little bit to talk about what are some of the advantages that you see through practicing yoga during pregnancy and that postpartum stage?
Well, I think a lot of it we've talked about already because especially like in my in-studio classes, I see these students and we just talk during class. Sometimes I feel like I'm not teaching them enough because we just talk. We talk about,
Connection.
yeah, we talk about birth. We talk about what to expect in postpartum. And so, yeah, building that connection. But not only that, they're taking time for themselves to connect to themselves and to connect to their babies
Mhm.
and to prepare their minds, calm it down, realize how your body responds to uncomfortable situations because we do endurance poses, we practice timing how long a contraction would be. So really embodying that whole experience as much as you can because there's really
Yeah.
so much you can prepare for, and birth and is so unpredictable, but we
But
prepare
that
our minds and bodies as
preparation
much.
is so
Yep.
key because if somebody's never given birth before and they haven't been in a situation to mimic what that looks like, I mean, yes, of course, nothing can compare, but we definitely feel much more prepared when we've tried to
Right.
mimic or we've talked about the stages of labor. It really can change.
Yes. Or practice affirmations or,
Yeah.
but also just giving them those resources like somebody has gestational diabetes. I have an amazing nutritional prenatal coach that I can connect you with, or somebody's has a breech baby. Let's get you connected with Spinning Babies or a Webster certified chiropractor. So being a resource for them, and if they have those issues like SPD, which I can, tailor to, or lower back pain or posture or whatever they're dealing with during pregnancy, a lot of these stretches can really manage that pain
Mhm.
as well as prepare their bodies for labor.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so funny. I was just talking to a client yesterday about stretching and how important it can be, but also for the mind. So I look back on my pregnancies and I just don't think in my day to day life that I was ever able to fully shut off my brain and to fully be present with my body unless I was in the studio. Like, just nothing else could be that calming, could be that dedicated to myself, mind, body,
Right.
and soul. But also, yeah, just taking the time to truly stretch, like you said, can make such a huge difference in some of those symptoms that we experience in
Yes.
pregnancy.
Better
Yeah.
sleep. I mean, I have students tell me that their best night of sleep is always the night that they attend class.
Oh, that's what amazing feedback. I mean, can it get any
Right?
better than that?
Yeah. Can I please
That's
give you more sleep?
That's
I would love
gold
that.
at this
Yeah.
point. Absolutely. And so I also want to talk about what pregnancy symptoms, like obviously we just kind of mentioned some of those, but what are the common pregnancy symptoms that you see in your students when they come to class that they're really wanting to focus on, during class with you?
Right. Yeah. So we've mentioned some of them. SPD, I feel like showing up a lot more. And what that is responsible from the growth hormone relaxin. A lot of, you're going to have that during pregnancy, which can cause a lot of extra stretching in different places. So maybe pelvic girdle pain, SPD, maybe SI joint pain. And then you have round ligament because your uterus is hanging on by one little ligament there.
Right. Right.
And so teaching poses that can help warm up that ligament so you're not experiencing that much. Lower back pain is a huge one. And then I really focus on posture. I focus on glute strength because glutes tend to switch off during pregnancy because of your alignment being thrown off. I am
Mhm.
very passionate about pelvic floor health. So some of these symptoms could be, caused by a weak pelvic floor, or a dysfunction that they're already dealing with. So let's hit it head on right now and let's start focusing on building that connection to that space so that you don't have to be that statistic of peeing when you sneeze or peeing when
Mhm.
you cough, because nobody should live like that and you don't have to.
Exactly. No, it's so true. We were talking to Dr. Catherine on another episode about something just because it's common doesn't
Yeah.
mean that it's normal. And I think we're finally having those conversations and clarifying what that means and what a new normal in your new body after having a baby should look like versus what
Yes.
our society kind of talks about how it looks like. So, hey guys, it's Stephanie Sinclair, founder and owner of How to Mom. I'm just interrupting today's episode to make sure you are well aware of all that How to Mom offers. We, of course, are a community and a support group for all moms at all stages of life, but we also offer a large variety of services that I wanted to make sure you are well aware of. We offer birth doula services, both in person or online support. We have birth support groups with different birth packages to choose from. We also provide placenta encapsulation services, lactation services from our lactation counselors. We also offer postpartum services, birth planning assistance, belly casting. We have a registered dietitian, nutritionist. We also offer a variety of photography services from birth, newborn, and family packages. We truly have it all here at How to Mom. So please don't hesitate to reach out today to have a free consult and help us find the best way to support you in your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum journey. Now back to today's episode. So I know a ton of perks to practicing yoga in preparation for your birth, but could you just let our audience know a little bit, how does practicing yoga help in the birth process? You get all of this amazing feedback from your students about how practicing yoga really aided in not only their physical response to labor and delivery, but also their mental standpoint.
I mean, it's kind of funny, but also a very big honor because I have them telling me that I am in their mind the whole time they're in labor. And I'm like, I'm so
Oh,
happy you're thinking about me,
yes.
But practicing those affirmations so that they can turn to them when they're in their midst of active labor or transition phase and learning techniques that help manage pain, but also huge, and the biggest thing that I preach is just intuition, like being able to trust yourself, trust your breath, trust your body. So getting used to that, getting used to trust and learning breathing exercises that you might turn to. And then I have students tell me all the time, so then I got into this pose, Amy, and I rocked in this way that you told us to rock, and then the baby came out. And it's like,
Amazing.
it's just amazing because
Yeah.
these prenatal yoga classes are already built in a way that they're the same poses that you're instinctually going to go to in labor. So now you're creating muscle memory basically. You're just getting used to
Absolutely.
and comfortable being in those poses. And but only you are going to know what feels good in each pose. So again, tuning in and connecting.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And breath is so important. And it's a great thing to also chat with your partner or support person about prior to labor because they can be there to help support that breathing technique, whatever feels best for you. Because sometimes we can get lost in that during the peak of our contraction. And so
Yep.
if somebody is breathing with us, we tend to just mimic that. And so it's like this really great reminder to be able to go home probably after your classes or even when you sometimes host couples
Yep.
classes of just really kind of training the entire family unit
Yep.
so that all of those muscle memories can stay intact, even with the support person as
The
well.
partner. And it gets them comfortable with speaking the way that you hope that they would speak in that moment too, because they're
Absolutely.
half the time they just don't know what to say. And then telling you to breathe is not the best thing. So
So
I am
true.
very passionate about encouraging my students to go home and yeah, have your partner stretch with you, have them help you get into positions, and then you can get used to communicating, push a little harder or back off a little bit. So it feels comfortable in the moment for you to say things like that.
Yeah. And I can imagine too, those endurance poses really stick with your students and remembering that when you're in those endurance poses and things get more intense and that sensation starts to climb of that muscle memory of trying to relax all of those muscles in your body.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to say that. It's a whole different story to actually be able to do that. And if you're
Mhm.
able to do that, the sensation or the way that you cope with each contraction can really change. And so
Yep.
it just goes hand in hand. Prenatal yoga goes hand in hand with how we labor and birth our baby. I mean, we could just end the podcast at that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so true. So can you tell our audience a little bit more about your classes? How you offer your classes? Are they virtual? Are they in person? And kind of how they can get a hold of your schedule.
I am all over and I
Yeah.
do all the things and it's always changing. The best way to check out what is most up to date for me is going to my website, which is amybazalwellness.com. But I do offer virtual classes weekly, both prenatal and postnatal. I offer in studio class for prenatal right now. I'm also going to be doing a upcoming pelvic floor and postnatal 6-week series in January,
Ooh.
and
Oh, I'm
then
so excited to hear about
yeah.
that.
And then I offer kid yoga classes usually on like those school off days in the studio. So whenever you have like a teacher continuing education day and they don't have school, I try to offer kid yoga classes then, which is a little way to get out of the house and have some
Yes,
fun as a family.
I love that.
Um, and then I also upload videos to Pilates Body on Demand with for Kayla Brugger, who does Pilates, and she has a huge assortment of prenatal and postnatal Pilates classes. We also have bar on there and some bounce. So it's an amazing opportunity for those who can't practice with me live, be able to go there. And if you go to pilatesbodyondemand.com and then use my code ABW yoga, all in caps, you get to try all of them for free for a month.
Wow. And then after that, it's a subscription or like a
Yep. So
membership?
then it's just a monthly membership. Yep.
Awesome. That is amazing. Well, Amy, can you tell our audience where they can find you? I know that you did just mention your website. If you want to repeat that, we'll of course link it below as well. But you have to let people know where to find you on Instagram and on TikTok, because if they aren't following you, they need to be.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention too some really incredible videos that you put up of you and your partner to really help kind of educate families what that can look and feel like, so that they can actually not just see kind of a drawing of it, but physically see it so that they're able to actually implement that in the birth space.
Yeah, my husband is a saint and he is so sweet and helps me assist because I'm like, these people need to know what to do, honey. Can you
Right.
please just practice
We
on
can't
me?
just tell them. We have to visually show them. It's
Yes.
huge. And it's not out there. So the fact that you're showing that is vital, really.
So yeah. My website is amybazalwellness.com. And then basically Amy Bazal Wellness on all the platforms, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. I think that's it. Might be
Perfect.
more.
Perfect. Well, we will link everything below. Amy, thanks for being such a great resource to the How to Mom community, all of our clients. We have some really special, amazing perks as How to Mom clients with Amy.
Yes.
So make sure
Mhm.
and reach out to us about that. But thanks for providing tons of education and knowledge to our audience today. And I strongly encourage all of you to check Amy out and to register for one of her classes, because it is a total game changer in your pregnancy, postpartum stage, but also just like she said, for your kiddos and just for a great workout or some relaxation.
Yeah.
So
Thank you so much.
yes, thanks for being on. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great day. All right, you guys, that is it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. If so, please subscribe to our podcast, comment, share, give us feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen, and we will see you next time.